Alright, let's see what's going on here. Okay, so that one's alright. What's the problem with Instagram? Okay, Instagram now says connected. There we go. Okay. So it's live. Okay, YouTube says I'm live with an excellent connection. Okay. Just gonna close all this other stuff on my pooter. Open my. Okay, so it is 4 o'clock on Friday, and once again we are live. The big news as well. There's Disney news from both coasts. Um, Disneyland is kicking off the 70th. Remember, they have a new World of Color show just for the 70th. They have Paint the Night coming back for the 70th. They have all kinds of cool food, cool merch. The characters have special outfits. There are special events. Um, so I think it's going to be really cool. Made me a little nostalgic. You guys can't see, but I have my Disneyland shirt on today. Let me aim my camera a little differently so you can see. I got this the last time I was out there in 2023, as you can tell by the date on it. Um, awesome trip. Awesome trip. And all my time at Disney World gave me a new level of appreciation, I guess, for Disneyland. They're totally different. Each park has its own vibe. I wish I lived more in the middle of the country because if I did, I'd probably split my time more equally between them. Unfortunately, from where I am on the Atlantic seaboard, um, it's a trek to get out to California. It's worth it. It's just not always feasible time wise. So I do want to try to get out there more often though because it's a really cool place, and I would love to see it for the 70th with all the decorations and the special outfits and all the cool stuff they're doing just for the 70th. Don't forget they have things added to It's a Small World. Goodness, I can't believe I almost forgot that for a second. I think because my brain is going quicker than my mouth, and my mouth is like, wait, 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 let me catch up. And my brain's like, nope, 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 catch up yourself, do it yourself. I'm not slowing down. Um, Reminded me of my first trip out to Disneyland when my son was, I want to say like 8 or 10, and they World of Color. They had the glow with the show things you could buy, like this hat. I didn't put it on because it doesn't really. Truthfully, with the electronics in it, they're a little heavy, a little hard to wear. But I loved the idea of them. I remember um, um, I thought it would be a really cool thing, and but it was expensive because I wanted one, but I also knew my son would want one, so therefore I had to buy two, one adult and one kids. And I won a contest a couple months before we went out, and I used my winnings from the contest to buy our glow with the show hats, which is probably why I still have mine, even though I'm sure the technology has improved. I didn't see anybody doing glow with the show when I was out there in 2023, but that might be something else they bring back soon. You never know with Disney. They are always planning, always thinking, always a couple steps ahead of us park goers that just enjoy it. Um, okay, so now we're going to switch coasts. We're going to come back to Florida because tickets for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party go on sale May 22nd. If you already have a reservation at a resort, i.e., you had one earlier this week, um, you can get tickets now. For resort guests with current stays, tickets are already on sale. If you are a Florida resident and you're just going for the night, if you want to go but you haven't booked your trip yet, your tickets will become available on May 22nd. So there are spooky things afoot already, even though it's only May. Which brings me to one of those other sort of spooky, bittersweet things, which is Graduation. It's creeping up. It's creeping up really quick. I know some of the colleges have already done graduation. I know my son's coming home from college this weekend. He finished his freshman year. Don't ask me how that happened. I feel like I blinked. Yesterday I sent him out the back door, told him to have a good semester. I blinked. We went to Disney. I blinked again, and now he's coming home for summer. That said, he's going to do a month as an exchange student in June, so he won't really be home until July. But I think he's going to have an awesome time in June. I am so glad he's got that opportunity, um, and I love it for him. He's had such a great year. He's been able to do such great things, and I cannot wait to see what happens in his sophomore year. Um, it's just, it's been so exciting to watch. So, if you have somebody special that you're celebrating, a graduate of some sort, whether it be kindergarten, elementary school, middle school, high school, college, um, maybe you have somebody who got their master's degree or their doctorate, um, why not give them the gift of travel? Why give them one more thing they have to pack and unpack throughout their life? Why not give them something little, like a coffee mug with a note in it that says, "Hey, we're gonna go on a Virgin Voyages cruise," or we're gonna take that Adventures by Disney trip. We're gonna take a Disney cruise. We're gonna do Marvel Day at Sea because the Marvel characters are your favorite. Or maybe they want to do Pixar Day at Sea because they love all the Pixar characters. There are so many things you can do. Maybe they don't want to do Disney at all. Maybe they want to go to an all inclusive resort with a butler level room and just be waited on for a week. Maybe they want to explore a new city or a new country. There are so many ways you can gift travel, and those memories last a lifetime. I still remember, when I was growing up, my grandmother loved the beach, my mother loved the beach, and every summer we took a trip to the beach for a week. Um, And it's funny because we didn't stay, most of the time we didn't stay in a hotel. We just rented somewhere. And some of the places were really nice and some of them were really dumpy. I remember one year when I was in middle school, or maybe it was early high school, we rented a townhouse. And it was probably one of the bigger places we'd rented up until then. But I thought it was really cool. And maybe that's just because I had a particularly good time that year. I don't know. But that's one of the years that sticks out. And then when I got older, like post college, they started doing my grandparents would go their length of stay gradually increased, and once they were both fully retired they would stay for a month. They'd go down for the month of September effectively. They'd go down Labor Day weekend if nobody else had the space rented. If it was rented, they'd go down the day after Labor Day and they'd stay through the end of the month. And it was just open door policy. If you have a day, you want to come down for the day because it wasn't a far drive. It's like a 2.5 hour drive. Come down for the day. Come down for the weekend. Come down for a couple days during the week because of course everybody had different schedules, and you never knew who was going to come in the door or what was going to happen. But you knew it was going to be a good day. You knew there would be good food and good company, and everything else was a bonus. So think about a trip or an experience, even if it's not a trip, Broadway show, maybe there's a museum or an event or something they've been thinking about for a while. Even that kind of stuff is just makes really cool memories that you have forever. Not that presents aren't good. I love presents, don't get me wrong. But I think sometimes there's a value in an experience that can't be matched with something you put in a box. Just my 2 cents, and I know as our children get older, they get harder to buy for. They have more and more income of their own and less things they need. And sometimes you want to celebrate them, but it's hard to find something to do that. So I'm just trying to give you tools for your arsenal. If I can help you with any of that, I would be glad to. Um, and it doesn't have to be now. Maybe Christmas is their favorite time of year, or maybe they've wanted to go to a spring event for the past couple of years, but they haven't been able to because they've been in the middle of classes. Maybe there's something like that. Maybe there's not. Maybe they can you can get tickets for the home football game, and take them to the stadium and do a game. And okay, you've been out of town at college for the last 4 years. Let's go to the first home game of the season. Let's go. Around this time of year, let's go to this special game you always wanted to go to. There's so much of that kind of stuff that just makes it special in a different way than something you can put in a box. Not that you can't put tickets in a box, because you can, but they're not going to remember opening the box and seeing the tickets. They're going to remember going and being there with you and the feel of the event and the weather and all the cool stuff you did getting there, and before and after and in conjunction with it. So, just a thought. Now, if you have littles, maybe you don't want to do a full-fledged trip this summer. Maybe with camp schedules and the way things look like they're lining up, you don't want to do, maybe you don't have a full week. Maybe you don't have a weekend because of the way practices and games and stuff fall if they're doing a summer sports league. I know there's, travel baseball and travel soccer and lots of other sports where you travel on the weekends for the summer. So if they're doing something like that, maybe do a day trip. For me, that would be Hershey Park. I could make it to Ocean City in a day. To Ocean City would be better done as a 2 day trip because the ocean and the outside always makes me tired. But that's me. That might not be you. Um, Dutch Wonderland, if you have little littles, if you have the pre-K set, or maybe you have early elementary school, but your kiddos are on the smaller side, Dutch Wonderland might be a better fit so that you don't have to worry about the height requirements. There's also Crayola, has a bunch of factory tours and exhibits for kids across the country. Um, I'm trying. My son loved factory tours when he was little. I'm trying to remember. There's a bunch of them in Colorado. There's Hammond's Candy in Colorado. In Colorado, you can also tour the football and baseball stadiums. Um, we did another one while we were out there. I'm trying to remember who it was. Hershey, if you want to go to Hershey, but you don't want to go to Hershey Park. They have a chocolate museum. They have Chocolate World. There's a trolley tour. There's Hershey Gardens. Longwood Gardens is another great. I want to say it's outside of Philly, but don't quote me on that because it's been a while since I've been there. But it makes a great day trip too. They have some cool tree houses. They have all kinds of beautiful flowers and water features. We took my grandparents one year, and my grandmother absolutely adored it. She was really a flower person. My mom is a flower person too, but she obviously got it from my grandmother. They had the best time, and we didn't, we were just kind of let them call the shots. And okay, what do you want to see next? Where do you want to go? What should we do? And we didn't make a full day of it. We left like dinner time, and we stopped on the drive back and got dinner, because we were all tired and none of us really wanted to slog through for the evening activity, which I think was fireworks, if I remember correctly. But there's lots of local stuff. Don't overlook your local stuff. It can be absolutely great. It can be just what you need. Whether you go and you stay for a couple hours, whether you make a day of it, whether you go somewhere a little further away and make a day of it, that's also great too. Hanover, PA has some great factory tours. They have UTS, which is self-guided. Um, Hanover Pretzel also has one. Renova Pretzel, at least pre-pandemic, had one. If you're in the New York area, Corning Glass has their museum, and then they have, you can make your own ornament, you can make your own piece of jewelry. They have some make your own classes, and they have some other special stuff. So that's somewhere you can check out in New York. We actually stopped there. We drove to Niagara Falls one year for a summer trip, and we stopped at Corning on the way up, kind of as our break point. We stopped at Corning and we did Corning, and then we got lunch and gas and all that stuff and got back on the road. So there's all kinds of ways to do it. The important thing is to make those memories, because those memories are really what you hold on to. So if I can help you with any of that, I would love to. Please let me know. I know there's water in places, there's stormy weather around. If you're in any of that, stay safe this weekend. If you have college kids coming home, give them a super tight hug, because you probably haven't been able to hug them for a while, if you're anything like me. If you have graduates, savor every moment, because It's going to go quick. And I have a feeling you already know that and you don't need to be reminded, but it might go quicker than you think. And if you're celebrating birthdays or anniversaries or any of that other cool stuff that seems to happen a lot this time of year, enjoy it. And I will see everybody next week at 4 for another travel update and another live. See you then. Stay safe until we meet again.